I didn't really like it because it was noisy. And that is the one thing that seems to be the greatest fear is parking. It's easy for me. In 2020, it has diminished to 58%, but that's still more than half. I have never done that. I've locked myself out, but I never locked out my phone. Got a good show for you today. It's a little bit of a continuation from yesterday about the fear of parking. But today I'm going to talk about Walmart parking lots. They're famous, aren't they? So I want you to watch it all the way through. I want you to give me a thumbs up. I want you to subscribe. It's right down there. And please give me a comment. Yes. Even if it's an emoji. I love to give emojis to people. Or if you have a question. So let's go. Let's go with the Walmart parking lots, okay? Hello. Hi, friends. Today I'm going to talk about Walmart parking lots. Walmart parking lots. Who hasn't stayed in a Walmart parking lot? Raise your hand if you haven't. Because I have, yeah. Okay, the first Walmart store was in 1962, July 2nd, in Rogers, Arkansas. And as the stores grew, now we got supersizers, so have the parking lots, right? And let's see, parking spaces. At its peak, Walmart designed some of its stores with about 6 parking spaces per 1,000 square feet of store space. But that has diminished recently. It's really about 4 per 1,000 square feet. Now, overnight parking. Let's talk overnight parking in Walmart. Oh my gosh. So if you're in van life, or if you're even just a snowbird, let me know in comments. Have you ever parked in a Walmart parking lot overnight? Historically, many Walmart stores have allowed RVs to park overnight. Those are RVs in their parking lots, free of charge, often with the store manager's permission and subject to local laws. You know, I really got to say this. Local laws really are there for the people who abuse it. That way they have a recourse to get rid of them. But the people who aren't making a ruckus, who aren't pulling out their camp chairs and their barbecues, seriously, they're really not harassed across the country even now, even though the permissions have diminished over the years. In 2010, the percentage of Walmart stores who allowed overnight parking were 78% of them. But just in 10 years, in 2020, it has diminished to 58%. But that's still more than half of Walmart stores in 2020 that were allowing overnight parking. I mean, we need to look. I'm sort of a half full kind of girl, half full glass. But yeah, I do think that's still pretty good. Still pretty good. Walmart's real estate head has said the company is reducing parking when re-evaluating store designs and local requirements. I do believe that in Arizona, it's more allowed than in other states. I read that in California, they're really diminishing. But here's the thing for me. Okay, I'm going to talk about me because I'm in a minivan, and it's easy for me. I don't have anything on my roof. I don't have a carrier. I'm not dragging a little pulley thing behind me, whether it's a trailer or an actual trailer, living trailer like a scamp, or it's just a little trailer that's holding some of my goods. No, I'm just a minivan, and I look just like anybody else coming to Walmart. Now, yesterday, I talked about parking, the fear of parking, and one of you asked me if I could give you advice on where to park. You're nervous, you're anxious, and you're scared like any other first-time nomad, a van lifer. You're going to step into van life, and that is the one thing that seems to be the greatest fear is parking. Okay, This is my home now. Where am I going to park my home? My home doesn't have a plot to sit down on. I have to rely on the kindness of strangers. This is from Charlotte, and she says, this goes with it. I have experienced that each city is different with parking. Some have a lot of security in parking lots, and Walmart will make you leave. And then other cities, it's really easy to find a spot. Just depends. And unfortunately, when I did park in the city, it felt impossible to park. She says, when I did park in my city, I felt it impossible to park. Yeah, I've never had a problem. I've had, in 8 years, I've had 3 knocks on my window, and that's it. And, well, let me tell you what they were. Okay. The first one was in Lake Havasu. I'm telling you, if you're going to go to Lake Havasu, you really have to stay on BLM land. And there's a lot on the outskirts of it. You have to stay there because if you sleep in town, they are vigilant of getting you out of there. Now, they weren't rude. They're not rude. Okay. What they did was they left a little card on my windshield. One side of the card gave coordinates for BLM land, which I thought was really nice. And the other side said, in Lake Havasu, we have a city ordinance, and you're not allowed to park in the city. Okay? So, unless it's on private land and they allow you to do it. So, the next time I got a knock was in Salt Lake City. I just pulled in there. Okay? And I just got to the city. And I was going to go to work at, I had a job waiting for me in a week at Amazon warehouse. So I pulled in the city, I checked out a couple parks, and I thought, well, now where am I going to park? There was a Love's truck stop inside the city. It was inside the city. It was really more like a convenience store. It wasn't your typical truck stop. So I parked there, and I had my bed pulled out, and so did a bunch of other people. Because Love's and Pilot will allow you to spend the night there. Well, I got the knock, and what did I say? I said, well, I don't drive too well at night, which, I don't like to drive at night. And he said, it really doesn't matter. He was nice. It was a security guard. I mean, they're not going to throw you in jail. They're not going to kill you. And so a bunch of us, we had to move. I could tell there was like people getting out of their car, putting on their jackets and everything. It was funny, but a lot of us had to move. Now, so where did I go? Oh, gosh. I knew a sure place to park overnight because I'd worked in a few Amazon warehouses before. And I used to just stay in the parking lot on the 4 days. In Amazon, you work 4 days in a row, and then you have 3 days off. Then you come back, you work 4 days. So why was I going to drive back and forth? I mean, they're 10-hour shifts. So I drove, and it was tough because I didn't know the city. I had to get on the highway, and I'm just telling you, in Salt Lake City, the highways are crazy. And you want to know why? This little offshoot, you want to know why I figured it out? Salt Lake City is against a big mountain. It's a flat mountain, one side's flat. It's kind of like when Joseph Smith, was that his name, Joseph Smith? When he brought his people, we brought his people with him. They discovered Salt Lake City. It had like a backdrop of a big flat. One of the side of the mountain was flat. So they sent the city against that wall. Well, so you can't really have and then it's a mountain. You can't really have a highway that goes around the city because of that mountain there. I figured this out. If you see it different, but this is what I really studied it because I spent time there. So what happens is the highways, you got like sometimes 3 or 4, I'm just probably exaggerating, but it almost seemed like it had 5 stacked on top of each other because it has to keep going through this way. It can't go around. I'm telling you, even Google Maps got messed up. It never failed. It would send me the wrong one. This it was like, ugh, you always wanted to swear. So anyways, back to having to move. So then in the night, I thought, well, I'm going to go to Amazon warehouse. I know that's a given. I can stay there. But it was like a good 20, 30 minutes away. And it was dark. It was in the middle of the night. So, yeah, but I did it. I did it. And I drove there and I just pulled in and parked. And I kept my bed out. I just crawled back in bed and went back to sleep. Another time I got a knock was I was traveling with Paul and we were in Las Vegas. Now, this was supposedly a given also. It was at a Cracker Barrel. But before we actually went to sleep, we had separate vans. And I was actually laying down already, and Paul stayed up later than I did. And he had a security guard come up to him and say, "Were you planning on sleeping here tonight?" And he says, "Well, yeah, it's Cracker Barrel." He goes, "Well, actually, Cracker Barrel does not own this parking lot." And there was a small casino. It wasn't big. It was a small casino. And they said, "This casino owns this parking lot, so you have to move." And Paul said, "Well, do you know of any other place? Because we're new here." And he says, "Yes, I do." He was so nice about it. He said, "Yes, I do. There is a place, it was like 2 or 3 blocks away. And it was a parking lot. I think it was what was it? It was a restaurant, I believe. Yeah, so we drove there and we spent the night. And there was a McDonald's not too far. Woke up, walked over, got some coffee, and came back. So they're nice about it. They're not going to hurt you. And they're usually security guards. I have heard of a couple of instances where younger young males, they were harassed a little bit more. Maybe it was the age, and they felt like, and it was an actual policeman, so it felt like maybe they're up to no good. But anyways, yeah, this is a reality. Parking in Walmarts are diminishing. But I have spent time in Walmart parking lots. I really have, even during the day. If they have solar panels, I might hang out for a day there. And nobody has ever bothered me. Now, when I was in Tucson, there was a Walmart. It was one of the super centers. Not all super centers are equal. And almost every night we parked there. Almost every night we parked at that Walmart parking lot right outside of Tucson. And one of the reasons why, because when you're traveling with 2 people and you're traveling together, he's your travel buddy. Well, Paul had a high top. He had a ProMaster. Parking in town wasn't easy. You have to find a space that will accommodate 2 vans. I have a minivan, just a regular car, and then with his high top. And one thing about traveling with him was that he was up late. And he had to have his window open because he smoked. Well, that can, if you're up late, it's not like you got your windows covered or anything. And it does create a little bit of people notice you more. Yeah, you're a little bit of an oddity. Like, if you're in a neighborhood, like, why is that guy just sitting in his van? Is he watching? What is he doing? And so most of the time we went to Walmart. I didn't really like it because it was noisy. There were cars pulling in. There were big, in the area, there were like a lot of lowriders with the boom boxes and everything. And even at midnight, they'd be going down this one road. It was really just too noisy. So now that I'm a solo traveler, I can go into it's a lot easier for me to park inside of a city. I mean, Walmarts, they're notorious for parking. I do have a clip I want to show you. And this is a young gal. And it really kind of like tugged at my heartstrings. It probably will you too. But she parks in a parking lot, and she's like probably a senior in high school, and she's homeless. So let's go ahead and watch this.
Nighttime routine as a homeless 18-year-old high school senior. So first I find a good place to park. This is the local Walmart. It's open 24-hour parking lot, so I won't get towed, hopefully. This is the current state of my car. I got a bunch of stuff from the school resource office today, so I have more stuff in my car than usual. Be sure to turn your car off because you don't want your battery to die. This is me setting up my windows for the night. I don't have any blackout curtains yet, and I don't have anything really to cover my back window, so I cover it with a trash bag. Yeah, and I actually had to undo all of this work because I got locked out of my car and had to reach the trunk. So this is me forgetting that I had something to get in my trunk, and I locked my car like an idiot, and I spent 20 minutes trying to get back into it, and I was having a breakdown when I got back in. So this is me redoing all that. And this is my car now. I moved some other stuff in there. This is me putting my curtain up. This is about as good as it gets in terms of front windshield privacy. This is something I got from school today. It's a power bank that you plug in. Some PJs I got from school. And those are the pajamas. And now it's time to go to sleep. Night, guys.
Yeah, that's kind of that's kind of sad. She really pulled at my heartstrings. And she's in high school. They know that she's homeless, so they're helping her out with some things. But the thing is, if you notice, she is in a Walmart. That's one of the reasons I wanted to show it. But if you notice, she's putting up blankets and sheets in her window. It's a good sign that you're homeless. If you're putting up sheets and blankets in your window to cover them, because they stick out on the outside, they really do. That is such a homeless look. So you don't want to do that. You want to have regular window covers for your windows if you're going to stay in a Walmart parking lot. Here's something else. I felt really bad for her. She said she locked her keys out. Oh my gosh. And she probably doesn't have AAA, because if you have AAA, they'll come and they'll get in your car for you. They'll unlock it for you. Of course, you can't lock your phone in because you can't call them then. That's a big deal. Yeah, I have never done that. I've locked myself out, but I never locked out my phone. I always take my phone with me, knock on wood and all that stuff. There's no wood in here. Oh, there's my flute. There's wood. Yeah. Don't ever, I try to have my phone with me at all times, because then you got to go beg somebody, right, to use their phone. And it's not that easy to find AAA phone number. It's not that easy to do. So I do have a tip for you. This is a really good tip. If you have a vehicle like mine, I've never done this, but I have come to Walmart parking lots early, though. Like if I know I'm going to go to Walmart first thing when they open up, and I get up early, because I always do. I mean, I'll go there early and park and just wait. But here is a tip, okay? If you park, if it's just you have a regular car. If you really wanted to spend the night and it says no overnight parking, guess what? There are people that work at Walmart all night long. They do the graveyard. There's not a lot of them, but they do. And so if you just have a regular car, go park where they're parked and just go to sleep. They're just going to think you're one of the workers. If you have an RV, nah, you can't do that. That's why I love living in a minivan. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. This is more about parking and about Walmart parking. You know, they're famous for it. But if you still have 58% of Walmarts, especially in Arizona, that are allowing you to park. That's still pretty good. I do know that Cracker Barrel is one that they are still allowing you to park. Just go in and ask. They're going to say sure. And then go in the morning and have breakfast or get a cup of coffee or something. Or at night, walk in there. When I was traveling with Paul, we went in there at night all the time. And would sit and have tea, coffee, maybe we'd get a little appetizer, and we would sit there. We really enjoyed it. And I did read that they have stopped, they've got the sign back, Cracker Barrel, in any of the stores that were remodeled into modern decor, they're going to change them back. And if they didn't remodel, and I know the store in Flagstaff, they did not remodel it. So that doesn't have to be redone. They're putting everything back. Yeah. So, alrighty, parking. You can still park at Walmart. You just have to be smart about it. And you have to be smart about what kind of a rig you're driving. If they don't allow you to, you will be asked to leave. But if you just have a regular minivan like me, you can kind of scoot in if you want to. But I will mention, for me personally, I park only in neighborhoods. I'm just really smart about it, and I'm not scared to do it. So, yeah. Okay, I love you guys. Mwah. How to Live in a Minivan, the Minivan Leeway. It's there on Amazon. It's not expensive, and it tells everything you need to know about van life, what to prepare, and how to handle all those questions and conundrums that you're going to come up against. And I also have 8 years living in my minivan. It's my memoir of 8 years, and there's some good stories in there. Oh my gosh! And I tell about all the places I've been, some of the funny parts, the scary parts, the sad parts, the romantic parts. Yeah. So I really recommend it. It's on Amazon. Okay. Till tomorrow, everybody. I am doing a very short 10-minute morning video for all of you who enjoy some encouragement first thing in the morning. So look for those in the early morning. Well, if you're on the East Coast, it's not early morning. It's more like around like 10. But daylight savings will be soon, and it'll only be a couple hours ahead of us instead of 3. Okay, so till tomorrow, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave a comment if you haven't already, okay? Bye. Good things are coming your way, I promise.